Although Rick and Morty hasn't focused much on Beth and Summer's relationship in previous episodes, the Season 8 premiere gives their dynamic a fun new twist. The first episode of Rick and Morty Season 8, Summer of All Fears, opens with Morty and Summer fleeing a virtual world that resembles the Matrix that Rick has imprisoned them in. Their incessant use of his phone charger annoyed him so much that he made a whole virtual world in which every NPC is always complaining about having to return a borrowed charger. Rick and Morty has benefited greatly from experimenting with various character pairings throughout its run. There have been several ups and downs in Beth and Jerry's dysfunctional marriage. Rick and Morty themselves have had arguments and reconciliations, and Rick has reluctantly become friends with Jerry in 3 or 4 episodes by now. Beth and Summer's relationship is one that has been neglected a lot. Their mother-daughter roles have remained fairly rigid, despite their potential. However, the Season 8 premiere gives that pair a new dimension. Summer and Beth are the most underutilized pair in Rick and Morty's ensemble cast. However, the Season 8 premiere highlights this mother-daughter duo and discovers a fantastic new method to disrupt their bond. Summer has spent nearly 2 cyber-decades trapped in Rick's matrix at the start of the episode. In reality, not nearly that much time has gone by, but Summer's mentality has reached adulthood. Now a successful business magnate, she and Morty are able to break out of their virtual prison thanks to her creative tech launch. Once they're out of the Matrix, Rick offers to use the Mind Blower device to erase their memories and make them into innocent teenagers again. They choose to retain their mature, enlightened minds, however, and refuse to have their memories erased. Though their consciousness has been aged into adulthood, the character's appearance remains unchanged. As a result, Summer transforms from Beth's disobedient teenage daughter into one of her peers. Now that they share the same emotions, they can put an end to their arguments and develop a close friendship. Beth's frustration with Summer's immature choices, such as using one of Rick's inventions to enlarge her breasts or moving too quickly with a skeevy guy she met on a dating app, has been the source of the humor in previous Rick and Morty episodes. But all of a sudden, Summer is the more mature one after emerging from the Matrix with the mindset of a prosperous adult. Typically, Beth gets on her high horse and talks down to Summer. The dynamic is reversed in the Season 8 premiere, though. Under normal conditions, Beth and Summer's relationship is quite toxic. In addition to being open about the fact that Summer was the product of an unwanted pregnancy and that she wasn't prepared to have children, Beth frequently expresses regret over having children and reflects on the success she might have had she never started. Summer's self-esteem has been severely damaged by this since it makes her feel like she was a mistake and that her existence is unimportant. When Summer emerges from the Matrix as an adult, however, their relationship somehow gets even more poisonous. When Beth and adult Summer go out for coffee, they openly discuss their achievements. However, Summer immediately discredits Beth's statements, snagging her whenever possible, leaving Beth yearning for her acceptance. Even worse than their typical interactions, it's unhealthy. It was wonderful to watch Beth and Summer's relationship grow a little. This underappreciated team should be used more often by Rick and Morty in the future.